Well, hey there, everybody. John here with Crypto Top 10, back again, once again. Talk to you about some of the trending articles in the crypto news space for October 19th. Hope you got a big old cup of coffee like I do. That way we can dive into things. As always, right off the rip, thanks to all those who have subscribed wherever you're finding this content. I really do appreciate it. And there'll be a link or links down in the description, depending on where you're finding my content, that you can follow to check out all the articles we've talked about today. And boy, we've got a doozy of it. We're going to start out with Polkadot. We're going to end with Ethereum. So let's get into things. So Bloomberg. This is an article about Polkadot being an Ethereum killer, potentially. So according to Bloomberg, Polkadot could have the potential to replace Ethereum in the long run. It's just next in a long line of competitors that are saying that, or people that are saying that. They said it about Tron. They said it about EOS. They say about Cardano from time to time, yet Ethereum is still number 2. So let's take a look at it. So Polkadot is a pretty young project. It only officially migrated to its mainnet back in July. Since then, Polkadot has been able to attract numerous investors and has fought its way up to number 8 of the largest cryptocurrencies. I believe it was number 5 when it initially launched, and 2, it didn't really fight its way up. It's just had massive backing and investment kind of from the get-go. Probably due to this, Polkadot was founded by Ethereum co-founder Gavin Wood, who previously worked as the chief technical officer as Ethereum. So that is quite the pedigree you're bringing into this project. And the two projects are interrelated, though industry experts say they have significantly different goals. So in my mind, that means the two can probably coexist in some form. The big thing is just going to be, which one's bigger? I think Yoda said it best. Size matters not. All right, so Ethereum offers developers a way to program, execute, and test dApps using smart contracts. Polkadot, on the other hand, gives dApp developers the ability to create their own blockchain that can communicate with other ledgers. Ethereum is one of those ledgers. So one person was quoted as saying, I believe in a multi-chain world interconnected by bridges, Polkadot and Cosmos will not replace Ethereum. I agree. They're not going to replace it when they have different goals that don't necessarily compete with each other. Also, there's more than enough space in the market for two cryptos that kind of do the same thing. It's when you get to 150 cryptos that all kind of do the same thing, and 50 of them do it pretty poorly, that you start seeing projects die. So, although Polkadot does have fewer developers than Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's a new report out there showing that developer activity has actually declined on Bitcoin and Ethereum, though they don't say a percentage, but they are saying it has increased 44% over at Polkadot. Again, I think that's a little bit misleading. What, did Bitcoin and Ethereum decline 1%, 2%? Or did they decline 30%? So I would have preferred a statistic in there as well. But to date, about 253 projects are based on Polkadot and range from stablecoins such as Tether to social networks. According to some, developer activity can be considered a powerful metric that reflects the true value of a project. I do agree with that. If no one's developing on your blockchain, then it's not an active blockchain. So either way, it's pretty difficult to actually assess whether Polkadot is an Ethereum killer, though I'm firmly in the camp that both are going to coexist for a long time. Though, God, I wish Polkadot had a different name. And whether the still relatively young project may even displace or replace Ethereum in the long run. Like, it's possible that it will replace it. It is. It is totally possible. They've got a lot going for it. As we'll talk about at the end, Ethereum does have a couple problems, though there seems to be some interesting stuff going on in terms of Phase Zero's drop date. It's just, I don't see it happening anytime soon. When I see the word long run, I'm thinking 2025, maybe 2030. I don't foresee any huge changes in the next year or two. So, let's hop on over and talk about Binance. So they actually just destroyed $68 million worth of Binance coin in the most expensive burn to date. So yeah, they burned their $68 million. It's their 13th token burn. If you're new to the space, a token burn is the opposite of minting. It's when you destroy coins, you send them to a defunct address, or however a blockchain does it. That's the easiest way that I know of. You send it to an address, or you send it to an absolutely incorrect address that is unretrievable from, and that shrinks the token supply. So they destroyed about 2.25 million of them. That's about 1% of the token supply. It's the fourth. It's the highest ever burn in terms of dollar value, and the fourth highest in terms of the amount of Binance coin they actually burn. Burning takes place periodically on Binance coin, basically 4 times a year, once a quarter, to increase the scarcity of the coin, which will theoretically bump up the price. Binance uses a percentage of its profits to buy Binance coin on the open market and then burn it. They want to reduce the supply to 100 million Binance tokens. There's currently 144-ish million of them, so they've got a ways to go. But if they're burning 1% or like 2 million every time, they're going to get there probably in the next 5 to 10 years. It's pretty darn good, actually. Binance coin has had a really, really strong year. Its price crashed back in March. Oh man, I hope you guys bought some when it crashed, because amidst the uncertainty caused by the coronavirus pandemic, it went from $25 to about $8. It's currently back up in the 30s. It did well out of this summer's DeFi boom when investors poured billions of dollars into the decentralized exchanges, lending protocols, and synthetic assets, which Binance is investing in and developing their own quasi-DEX. Very good for Binance. Again, you just can't keep this exchange down. They seem to be doing everything right. So with that being said, let's hop over to an exchange that's not doing everything right. So we're talking about OKEx. So over the weekend, the beleaguered cryptocurrency exchange has struggled to regain its footing. Why? Oh, we're going to get into that. So the exchange, headquartered in Malta but most active in China, had to suspend withdrawals last week after Chinese authorities called for investigation. So right there, they suspended all withdrawals, which this article is saying contributed to about a 2.5% drop in the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be recovering all right. So the founder of OKEx, Zhu Mingxing, was taken away by police, Chinese police, on Friday for questioning. Subsequently, the exchange's token OKB collapsed 25% over the weekend. I'm sorry, China has a habit of making people kind of not disappear, but definitely not be pretty accessible, and he is one of the private key holders, so him being unavailable is probably why they had to suspend all withdrawals, because they probably can't access some of the money. They have no date set for withdrawals to start again. OKEx customers just going to have to kind of deal with it and get used to things. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The fact that their exchange coin only dropped 25%, I say, is pretty darn good, actually. I would have expected a 30-40% drop, though it very well still could if bad news continues. It seems people are being moderately understanding, plus the exchange coin dropping 24% could partially be because no one can withdraw their money from the exchange anyways. So what are they going to do? I mean, personally, I would trade it into a coin that's having a better couple of weeks, like Stellar or any other of the top 10s. So, yeah, that stinks. But hey, let's not dwell on that for too long. Let's hop on over. Talk about Cardano for a hot second. So the recently appointed CEO of the Cardano Foundation, Frederick Giergaard, spoke about the future of Cardano and the crypto market in general. He explained that Cardano Foundation's intention is to establish Cardano in the market, not in the short term, but in the long term. And he was quoted as saying the long term in his mind is the next 50 to 100 years, which Little golf clap for him. That is the exact length of time I think you need to be thinking about to have a successful business. Short-term decisions lead to short-term profits, but long-term company collapses. So the long term, I think, is a good way to go, especially with the crypto markets, which we are still very much in the beginnings of. So as he further explained, he currently sees around 10 different blockchains and DLT projects that could gain a foothold in the corporate world, especially third-generation blockchains like Cardano are going to be important for companies. Obviously, he's going to promote Cardano. He's the new CEO. Duh. But he did give credit to Ethereum, which is, quote, just upgrading, unquote. It will be successful because, according to GearGuard, the need for solutions is enormous and will not be solved by a few projects or technologies. I would 100% agree with him. There's so many different things you can do with crypto and so many things that we're only just now developing, see DeFi, and things we haven't even thought of yet that can be applied to pretty much every industry out there. So it's going to be very interesting to see long-term what happens. When asked why Cardano is better than other blockchain products, he explained that IOHK, or Input Output Hong Kong, has taken a step backwards to create a more secure architecture than other blockchain projects. The scientific basis is revolutionary and will ultimately promote business adoption. That is kind of their rallying cry. Cardano is built around peer-reviewed, scientifically researched papers, and that's what they've used to boost their credibility. And honestly, it's one of the things I like most about the project, and it's why I do hold a decent amount of Cardano. I can't call it significant, but enough that if this thing 10x's or 100x's over the next 10 to 20 years, I won't be able to retire, but I definitely won't have to worry about killing it with these 12-hour days. So, turning to the last aspect, enterprise adoption, which they talked about, he said that companies still prefer permissioned blockchains because they are closer to the centralized system and provide greater security on many issues. Again, totally agree with him on that. If you are a business that's used to dealing with centralized things, decentralized projects and things like that probably do make you a little bit nervous. It's the devil you don't know. So they're going to stick with a permission blockchain that is maybe a little bit not centralized, but more so than some of these other ones, with a bit bigger name recognition and more backing. Ethereum, Cardano, anything in the top 10 kind of fits this bill right now. In the future, new businesses that start up and things like that will probably push more into the more decentralized type things because they will be cheaper. But right now, any company that wants to get in on the blockchain space is pretty much being invited in by these companies. So you can get in pretty early and hopefully leverage that to grow. So pretty cool for them. Absolutely like it. Just like that, we're about halfway there. Nice. All right, well, hopping on over, let's talk about Monero a little bit. They just did a pretty major update, all the while with the IRS and other places hot on their heels. So first announced back in September, Monero developers today went live with a network update featuring a new version of its node software, codename Oxygen Orion. The product of nearly 30 contributors, the update promises significant improvement across nearly all aspects of the privacy-focused cryptocurrency's performance. The highlight of the new update is the compact, linkable, spontaneous, anonymous group CLSAG feature. Whew, there we go. According to the Monero blog, CLSAG will reduce transaction sizes by 25% and improve transaction times by 10% while maintaining transactional privacy. So that is a pretty significant upgrade. In addition to this, a new update brings security improvements to the network, especially in regards to Dandelion++, which is responsible for hiding user IP addresses. So we've talked about this on channel before. I believe I reported on it when they first announced that they were targeting an October drop for all these upgrades on Monero. Anything that makes the blockchain faster and improves security is a good thing, especially on a Monero, and especially in regards to this, there's a pretty uncertain outlook for the crypto due to pressures from multiple different fronts. So along with this, back in September, the IRS offered up a bounty of $625,000 to anyone who can crack Monero's privacy. Additionally, the Department of Homeland Security claimed to have acquired software that can track Monero transactions, though some researchers question the veracity of those claims. I really do feel like any crypto, even Monero, if you turn enough attention to it, you can probably figure things out using algorithms and machine learning and different aspects like that, especially if you know the start point of the Monero. If you're able to take the guy who sent the transaction, maybe, but I also question the veracity of these claims. Either way, Monero is up about 4% in the past week. This upgrade seems to move the needle a little bit for them, and people aren't too worried about the IRS and the Department of Homeland Security. More and more people, I think, are starting to trust cryptos, and Monero is a good spot to go if you want more privacy than the average coin offers. Though don't do anything illegal on it. There we go. All right. So let's hop on over. So, yeah, China, they sent $1.5 million worth of their digital yuans to about 50,000 Shenzhen citizens, basically a lottery, so that way they can test out the central bank digital currency and their native and the app that you use for it. So, those who used the funds to make regular everyday purchases weren't impressed. However, analysts claim that the trials are a significant step towards a real-life practical usage for China's digital currency. Why weren't they impressed, though? Is my question. So let's get into it and find out. So numerous world central banks are reportedly working on their own CBDCs. Although multiple reports in the past year suggest China leads the race, the end results were mostly theoretical. However, this changed when news broke that the Shenzhen government gave away their 10 million yuans, or about 1.5 million, in a lottery to 50,000 people. After downloading a designated app, users were able to receive and spend the funds at over 3,000 merchants in the region, and it was the first notable practical usage for digital currency. I mean, golf clap for them. Good. Following a week of trials, the results surfaced earlier today as reported by Reuters. Most users' general conclusions indicated that the app and the digital currency operated similar to already existing online payment applications as Alipay and WeChat Pay. So that's why they're not impressed? To me, I find that highly impressive. It's a central bank digital currency that uses an app, and it works pretty much the same as your existing structures. And it's in China, where they can kind of make you use it. Yeah, I think that's actually going to be pretty impressive in the long term for them. I didn't fail to impress because it was buggy or it was slow. It worked pretty much the same as what people are already used to using, and it's backed by the government. And like I said, they can kind of force people to use it in China. So, yeah, we'll see. Because the digital yuan operates outside existing financial infrastructures. As such, the report highlighted the growing fears from the West that if the digital yuan reaches mass international usage, which it very well could, or at least in the Asia region, it could undermine the U.S. dollar dominance as the most utilized global payment currency, which the United States has had, want to say since like the 30s? Chief China economist at ANZ, Raymond Yung, asserted that the government would prioritize the digital yuan usage, as it would allow authorities to monitor currency circulation more closely. There we go. China loves their control. He also broached other merits, such as preventing money laundering schemes and levying negative interest rates on cash. Yeah, and that's why I do think that this is going to be interesting. At the very least, it is probably going to eventually supplant WeChat and Alipay as the dominant way Chinese people pay for things, because it's government-backed, and the Chinese government is going to want that extra little bit of control to see where money's going. But hey, I talked about it at the start of the video, so let's hop on down talk about Ethereum. So developers sharing latest news are thinking Ethereum 2.0 could be 6 to 8 weeks away. Cool. So that would put it on track for early to mid-December, which is still 2020. Ethereum 2.0 developer Ben Edgington recently posted an update to highlight the latest news from Beacon Chain testing and development. The primary update was the publishing version of the 1.00 release candidate 0 for Beacon Chain, which consists of a number of improvements and configuration tweaks that are detailed in his post. Whew. The deposit contract is, quote, good to go, he added, with Beacon Chain Genesis coming 6 to 8 weeks later. This is still an estimate, and there's been no official launch date announced, but they keep saying 2020, and 2020 is closely ending, so early to mid-December would be a great time. Though coronavirus is going to be inhibiting the amount of in-person gatherings that could be happening, it's definitely very notable that the last time Ethereum and Bitcoin had an insane run was in 2017, around this time of the year, which everyone seems to be waiting for. So, so the Zinken testnet, which ran last week, which was a dress rehearsal for how to launch, ran smoothly enough for the team to turn their thoughts now towards the real thing. He added, the programmer continued that testnets are not cutting it anymore, and Phase 0 needs to be launched ASAP. Citing the Medallia testnet, which is suffering from very low participation, he thinks people are getting a bit bored of testnets and it's time to move on. At the time this article was written, there was only 45% network participation on the Medallia testnet, according to Beacon Chain, and it needs 66% to reach finality. When it launched, it was in like the 75 to 80% region. It's been going on for a while, I would say over a month at this point, so honestly I would see why that network participation would be dropping, because people are like, it either works or it doesn't. Either end it or stop it. Etherscan was like, validators, save Medallia. It's just... You've had your time, Ethereum. If it ain't going to work by now, maybe Polkadot does deserve to replace you. I just get so upset. Again, Ethereum was for a long time my favorite. The bulk of my holdings are in Ethereum. If Ethereum could 10x or 100x in the next 10 to 20 years, then it might be able... Well, no, I wouldn't be able. If I lived alone, I could retire. But I got a wife and a kid, so... I'd still have to work, but God, I wouldn't have to care about my job at all. Just get like something that has benefits. You can pay me minimum wage, just give me benefits. That type of thing. But hey, that does it for the trending articles in the crypto news space today. If you've made it to this point, why not subscribe? I'd appreciate it. Just hit that little button. You can get updates from me pretty much daily, though with the upcoming birth of my son, that's probably going to be a little back and forth for a couple weeks, at least until we get our routines figured out. But as of right now, I don't foresee any massive disruptions to my news service. So please, subscribe. All right, let's take a look at the top 10 cryptos by market cap. Ooh, Bitcoin sitting at 11.5. Nice. Biggest winner on the day looks to be XRP, up 2.5%. With Binance going actually down 1.3%, which is strange. They just had their token burn. However, I do want to take note that both Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and Polkadot and Chainlinks and Bitcoin Cash, their 7-day charts, the squiggly lines are getting less and less and less squiggly. And from what little technical analysis I know, when the squiggly lines that go up and down stop going up and down so much, that means it's preparing for a massive swing, either up or down. Let's pray that it is up. I think Bitcoin needs to clip 12K, and I think that's where the fun begins. So, all that being said, my name is John, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Peace.